you think if Checo isn't in pole position, he doesn't stand a chance against Max?
He can't.
I believe everyone heard me swear when he got the 5-second penalty.
In the words of Toto Wolff, we never give up.
You're almost shaking with excitement. Have you enjoyed? Has this been unreal for you?
It's amazing feeling.
We've been doing all right the past few decades, not just this season. There's always area for improvement. But with the new principle, I'm sure we can do so much better. There's so much in the future that we can aim for. There's so much light at the end of the road. Today, Leclerc did do very, very well, catching up from 12th to 7th or 6th with it. That was amazing. Sainz just like tad bit dragged back, but it was okay. But there's still the rest of the season ahead of us.
Absolutely. You mentioned the new team principal there, Fred Vasseur, taking him from Alfa Romeo. Does that fill you with a lot of confidence then, having Fred at the helm?
Yes, the last time we had a French principal, 1997 to 2007, or 1993 if I'm not mistaken. That was prime Ferrari, so I'm expecting another prime Ferrari.
Do you think that they are with a shot though at the championship, or do you think that that is going to be a bit too much of a challenge?
I think George might be in with a chance. As much as I am a Lewis fan and I'm a George fan, Lando, you know, all the Brits. But I do think George is in for a better chance unless Lewis connects with the car and they figure out what's wrong with the car.
I think George is going to surprise a lot of people this season, 100%.
And how do you think that will be in terms of team morale and the team camaraderie if George is the one that's outshining Lewis, when we know that Lewis is sticking around to get his 8th?
I don't think Lewis is Mardy. I think he's quite a sportive teammate. I think we saw that with Bottas. I think he's really supportive of George, so I don't think he's going to be walking off stage when he's not on the, higher than George.
I think they've definitely had time between seasons to work together, and I think especially last year when George kind of had like the top 5 podium thing over Lewis, I think they've worked together to kind of figure out how Lewis can get back to the top as well. So I think they're going to work together to kind of have a chance at drivers and constructors, and I think definitely there's going to be a nice little challenge between Red Bull and Mercedes this season.
I'm extremely happy to see him on the podium after the penalty.
And
I
how?
was expecting better, to be honest. I wanted P2, but after, it's Red Bull. They're becoming unstoppable.
We had George Russell starting in a podium position, but ultimately losing out as the race unfolded. What did you make of his race?
The problem is the car. It's not that fast, like Red Bull. They are in another world.
Okay, so today's race was an interesting one. We had Charles starting further down the grid because of his grid penalty. Carlos up there in the mix, but then ultimately the way the race unfolded didn't feel like they were able to necessarily capitalise as much as they would have wanted. What did you make of the race?
I think it was an interesting race. I know they didn't accomplish much or do much, but I think it was very interesting just watching them on the grid doing an amazing job. I think they put their best out there, and I'm proud.
What did you make of the strategy to start Lewis on the hard tyres whilst most others started on the mediums?
I mean, if you notice towards the end, Lewis was catching up with George, and so the strategy, he could have caught up with George and went ahead of him, but like the strategy was quite, I think that's the best outcome for Lewis, especially with the safety car coming in midway through the I think like lap 15 or something like that. So I think started Lewis on the hard tires, gave him an alternate strategy, and he could have overtaken George, but I think there was a team order or something that he just decided to sit back because that's the best outcome in case the Ferraris picked up their pace and tried to overtake Hamilton. He's gonna have to defend, so he saved his mediums, and like I think he did over like 35 laps on the mediums. That's a long stint.
Have you always been an Aston Martin fan, or have you always been a Fernando fan?
Honestly, no. I'm supporting Fernando only since 08.
You're almost shaking with excitement. Have you enjoyed? Has this been unreal for you?
It's amazing feeling.
And now you're ready for the track invasion.
Yeah, I'm turning up.
We've got lots of. All the Mercedes fans have found me suddenly, so I'm going to have a little chat with you guys. Pardon?
They definitely need to play the team game. If they want to go ahead, Russell should have let Hamilton through. They should have let him through. They should have let him attack Alonso, or at least push forward to even have the chance of a podium. In case there was a difficulty with the car or a DNF with someone like Red Bull, and we know what happened with their drive shaft, they should play the team game. I think Toto needs to get the team together, and then he needs to get Russell down, he needs to get Hamilton down, and they need to play together, they need to drive together, and then we'll go back to the top again.
But we're only on race 2, do you think that maybe it's too early to impose team orders?
I think not so if they want to play the team game. I think Hamilton's already stressed that. I think Toto's already stressed that. I think Russell's willing to interchange. So when Hamilton gets the opportunity and Russell's likewise, they'll swap over.
And you mentioned ditching the side pod. Do you think it's time to refocus and change concept?
100%, yeah. Get the side pods back.
So do you think that they should sort of abandon the rest of this year then to completely redirect their focus to this new concept and then 2024 come back full power?
So I think so, very much, yeah, absolutely. Long life Lewis fan, so yeah, definitely, yeah.
There's some big upgrades coming, and I think in Spa or Baku, we're going to be there. We're going to be
enough. It will not be enough.
Oh, we got all the teams arguing. Did you enjoy the race?
I enjoyed it. It's a very nice race.
And who specifically were you supporting?
Maxim, actually.
Pardon?
Maxim.
Max Verstappen?
Yeah.
You're in a Ferrari hat.
I like the machine of Ferrari.
You want to make it a triple, not a
Yeah,
double?
for Max Verstappen.
And I'm guessing you think he can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We will see by the end of the season. Not by the end, by the middle.
Oh, by the middle, you think he's... You think he's going to wrap it up by the middle of the season?
Checo is lucky today because he starts from the first place.
Okay, so you're here supporting Ferrari, you're here supporting Aston Martin, Red Bull. So you guys must be happy. You maybe not so much?
Nah, I think the team should regroup and focus because it's really disappointing race for Ferrari as a team coming to this season after last season of how the strategies screwed the whole championship. I'm actually disappointed. I expected at least top 5, but 6 and 7 is not enough. And in order for us to fight for more wins, I think the team has to regroup and focus more on the factory.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's come to you now. Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, or both?
Alonso.
So you're very happy right now seeing him up on the podium?
100th podium. It's the best feeling, to be honest. See him at my home race winning the 100th podium in style. Even with the 5-second penalty, he overcame adversity to get the podium.
Okay, so you said to me Hamilton's the man. Lewis is your guy?
Lewis is my guy. In the words of Toto Wolff, we never give up.
Wow, there you have it. So how do you feel about his race today? Because it didn't necessarily unfold as strongly as you may have liked.
I don't know if it was the right idea to start on the hards. Maybe if they started on the medium, it would have given them a better position. But it shows we're definitely competing with Aston Martin and the Ferrari. I have to concede Red Bull are on another planet. But if anybody can do it, Lewis is the man.
But how do you feel about the strategy call? You mentioned the hard tyres, but then when we got to when he was closing in on George Russell on the mediums, do you think that team orders should have been enforced stronger there?
It would have been harsh to switch the drivers around, I think, at that point in time. It would have been really harsh on Russell. He had a really good drive, so it would have been fair to him. So I think that's the best they could have salvaged. If they changed tyres again at that point, they'd give up track position. So it's the best you could do. Live to fight another day.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed your day. Thank you for chatting with us.